All right, guys. So a senior Biden advisor has came out and shocked Black America as he has said that the White House will start acting on reparations. Now this probably has a lot of people either very upset or very happy, right? Because that's what those who want reparations want to hear. They want to hear about some action now. And you guys know how I feel about reparations, and specifically when it comes to the Democrat Party's promises to continue to study reparations. Okay, I think they are simply dangling a carrot in front of Black people to say, hey, we might give y'all reparations, we might not, but we need to study it. We need to study it first and tell y'all everything that you already know, and then we will let you know. Okay. And I think that is just a way to garner votes for a policy that I really think is not practical, and I think realistically is not politically viable. Okay, or put it this way: cash payment, right, as a form of reparations is not politically viable. Okay, so that's my opinion on reparations. But Joe Biden, hey, who knows? He may be proving me wrong, right? As it seems that the Biden administration is serious about reparations and paying back Black people what a lot of people say that we're owed. That's what they say. That's what historians and academics are saying. And we know, guys, that the academics are controlling everything nowadays in society. So let's see what Biden's reparations plan is. The White House is going to start acting now to address reparations to African Americans, a White House senior advisor said in a new interview as Congress debates forming a commission to study how the policy could be implemented. Speaking to Axios on HBO in an interview set to air Monday, White House senior advisor Cedric Richmond discussed efforts targeted to helping minority communities. While administration may back the study, Richmond added that they were not waiting on Congress. Quote, "We don't want to wait on the study. We're going to start acting now," he told the outlet. Quote, "We have to start breaking down systemic racism and barriers that have held people of color back, and especially African Americans," Richmond told the outlet. "We have to do stuff now. If you start talking about free college tuition to historically Black colleges and universities, and you start talking about free community colleges in Title I and all those things, I think that you are well on your way," he continued, noting that a timeline for Congress commission was not known. In that article, basically what it's saying is that Biden wants to act now on reparations. He doesn't want to wait for there to be a commission and for them to take another 100 years to study it. Okay. And his form of reparations is free college tuition to historically Black colleges and universities, and also free community college. That is the reparations that Joe Biden wants. And I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat. You guys know I'm against free college, right? Free four-year university. And the reason why I'm against free four-year university is because I think that it is incredibly inefficient. I think that the cost of four-year universities are bloated with administrative costs and other things because of people living on campus, the type of programs they want on campus, the ultra liberal academics, right? We're paying to have gender studies professors in fields that don't, again, generate positive economic returns, right? I'm all about ROI, guys, right? If the government invests in something and there's a positive ROI on it, I'm like, okay, let's do it. That's typically what happens in corporate finance, right? When you're evaluating projects, if the ROI is positive, that means that there's a green light to move forward with that project, right? I think that the ROI on free four-year universities for everybody, I think it's going to be negative. I think that's bad, right? And part of the reason why is because it's inefficient. And if you made it free for everybody, then everybody will just start going. And everybody should not be going to four-year universities, okay? It's just not for everybody. And we already know that it's a bad investment because people that go to these four-year universities that get these worthless bachelor's degrees aren't paying back their loans. Okay? They're not paying back their loans. So we know that it's a bad investment, which is why I'm against it. Community college, on the other hand, free community college is an interesting idea. I'm open-minded to it because the return on investment for community colleges is higher, at least in the short term, than four-year degrees, and it requires much less investment from the government. Now, the great Republican state of Tennessee and the Republican legislator has even decided to implement a free community college and technical education program to the citizens of that state, right? And they purely cited economic development reasons, right? Because having a workforce with broad skills is going to, in theory, attract companies to that state, right? Where you already have a Republican state where, lower taxes, right? Lower regulations, and then having a skilled workforce is going to help more private industries come into the state. So a GOP state, a red state, is actually already pioneering this program. And I think that is the way to go. And I think it does kind of back up, my idea that I think that type of program would be beneficial for rural areas, right? So, Tennessee, red state, Republican legislator is pioneering this as we speak. And they have found that college applications in terms of community colleges are up, and that costs are very, very low and affordable in Tennessee for this program. And Tennessee is one of the most affordable and highly ranked states in the country in terms of student debt. Low student debt, low cost for the state, more people getting educated, getting skills that are going to attract businesses to the area. Okay, and it's efficient. This is the ideal Republican legislation. I love to see it. Good job, Tennessee, right? But more than anything, I really believe that we should make our public schools better, right? We should make our public schools basically skill factories, right? Like our high schools, so that people don't have to even go to college at all. I'm a strong believer in bringing back vocational training in school. I think that's ideally what I would want to do before I would want to do free community college. But in terms of free tuition to historically black colleges and universities, this is just another trick from the Democrats. Let me tell you why it's another trick. The reason why it's another trick is because, one, it's not reparations, right? You're not righting a wrong here. Just because you give money to a historically black college and university, you make tuition free. You do understand that white people go to historically black colleges and universities. You do understand that. And what's going to happen is that if you make tuition free for these schools, you're going to have a ton of non-black folks that are all of a sudden going to start going to historically black colleges and universities because they know that they can get a bachelor's degree for free. Okay, and it's literally going to result in the exact opposite of what the intentions are. And see, and this is why I try to tell people that this whole reparations conversation is a waste of time because it's never going to happen. And the form of reparations that they come up with is never going to just benefit black people, okay? Because it's not politically viable. I don't even believe that Biden really wants to make tuition free for historically black colleges and universities. I really don't. I think what he wants to do is that he wants to use that as a reason to push for free community college because that is on the Democrat platform. Okay, so to me, I'm not buying this whole free tuition to, historically black colleges as some type of reparations that Biden wants, right? He might want it, who knows? But I'm just saying, I'm personally not buying it. Also, on top of that, what I also don't like about the whole reparations conversation when it comes to, giving money directly to black institutions. Right. And I'm not against it. Trump did it. Right. Trump gave money to the historically black colleges. I'm not against it. But I think when you start to make the tuition free, it really starts to devalue historically black colleges and universities. And you start to devalue the degree. You start to devalue people who actually went to those schools. OK, because a lot of employers are going to look at that and be like, oh, so you went to this school, you got free education. it's just going to add more to the stigmas that are already associated with black folks. Okay. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to this whole reparations conversation, and why I really do think that it's not a viable solution and one of the reasons why is it's the stigma, right? It's the stigma associated with a group of people getting some form of help solely based off of race, okay? And again, that's going to piss off a lot of people in other races that feel like their lives aren't great, that feel like they got the shit end of the stick. They're going to feel like, well, why am I not being compensated for my hardships? Why am I not being compensated because I'm not born into a middle class or rich family, right? Shouldn't I be compensated because my ancestors were treated badly, right? Because black folks weren't the only group of people in this country that were, disadvantaged. The Irish for a long time were discriminated against in this country. Now, again, I'm not taking away any type of discrimination that black folks have faced historically in this country. Obviously, I'm just saying. I just, the thing about this whole reparations conversation, what really worries me the most is that if they actually do something, which I don't think they're doing anything, if they actually do something, I think it's going to make race relations even worse, because I think a lot of people are going to start looking at black folks and being like, hey, you guys are getting handouts, you guys are getting this, you guys are getting that, you guys are getting all these advantages, and people still not going to stop complaining, right? Even if they get reparations, people still going to complain. They still going to bring up slavery, they still going to bring up Jim Crow, they still going to bring up civil rights movement, they're going to bring up all that. They're going to continue to bring it up, okay? And I think at that point, when we're talking about the race conversation and trying to improve race relations, I think that's the worst possible thing you can do, because a lot of people not going to like it. And I think that that's going to lead to more racism ultimately, and it's going to lead to more negative stereotypes and stigmas that are already associated with black people. That, oh, black people just get handouts. Black people want the government to do everything for them. Black people, don't want to work hard. Black people need help. Black people are not as smart as, the next person. Like, Joe Biden said it himself. What? Poor kids are just as smart as white kids. Right? Like, I'm serious. Only thing it's going to do is reinforce stereotypes that, well, if you're successful as a black person, it's because the government gave you something, or it's because you got a handout, right? And listen, I understand the arguments. Right, from those that, want reparations, right? I 100% understand it. I personally think it's impractical, right? And it's not really a realistic conversation. Therefore, it's a waste of time. Like I told you, if it was Reconstruction period, I would be all for reparations. Okay, all for it. But because of the time that we live in now, I think we're so far removed that I think it's really time to move on to the future, right? Taking advantage of the current resources that we have to, build up our own communities and to take advantage of the economic opportunities out there, because there's plenty. Okay. Joe Biden, he wants to potentially make historically black colleges and universities free as a form of reparations. I think that it's a disastrous idea. The reason why is because, one, a lot of non-black people will end up going to historically black colleges and universities because of that. And then two, it's not even reparations. It's not reparations. It's just a way for Biden to low-key implement his plan to make community colleges free, which is what he wants to do. And he's basically using race and reparations conversation to try to get there, right? To make it more politically viable. So that's my thoughts on that. I want to know what you guys think about this, right? What do you guys think about making HBCUs free as a form of reparations? Let me know in the comment box. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black Conservative perspective. Peace.